Lord Shiva was seated on Mount Kailash with Goddess Parvati. The Devas, sages, and celestial beings often came there to seek blessing and wisdom. One day, sage Narada arrived at Kailash, chanting Narayana Narayana. After offering his respects, Narada praised Mahadeva and spoke about the welfare of three worlds. Pleased with Narada's devotion, Lord Shiva blessed him with the divine Vaijanti Mala, a garland filled with spiritual power, purity, and divine grace. Shiva told Narada that whoever received this garland with humility would be blessed with a prosperity and good fortune. Narada accepted the garland with gratitude and continued his journey through the heavenly, beautiful places. As he traveled, Narada met the great sage Durvasa. Knowing Durvasa's spiritual greatness and devotion, Narada offered the sacred garland to him as a mark of respect. Durvasa happily accepted the divine gift and placed it upon his head. He understood that this was not an ordinary garland, but as a symbol of divine blessings. Some time later, Durvasa was traveling through heaven when he saw Indra, the king of Devas, riding majestically on his white elephant Airavata. Indra was surrounded by gods, musicians, and celestial attendants. Heaven was flourishing, and Devas were enjoying immense power and prosperity. Pleased by the sight of Indra, Durvasa decided to bless him. He removed the sacred garland from his own head and offered it to Indra. Indra accepted the garland, but because he had become proud of his position and power, he failed to recognize its spiritual significance. Instead of wearing it respectfully, he casually placed it on his Airavata's head. The elephant, irritated by the fragrance, threw the garland and trampled it under its feet. The moment Durvasa saw this, his face was filled with anger. Indra, this garland carries divine blessings. You have insulted a sacred gift because of pride has entered your heart. Wealth and power have made you arrogant. Durvasa then pronounced a terrible curse. I am Durvasa. May all your glory, prosperity, strength, fortune disappear. Let the Devas lose the power they have taken it for granted. The curse took effect immediately. The brilliance of Devas began to fade. Their strength weakened. Prosperity started leaving heaven. The blessing of Goddess Lakshmi gradually departed from them. This was the beginning of the downfall of Devas and the first event that eventually led to the grand Samudra Manthana, the churning of the ocean of milk. Takeaway of this situation: a single moment of arrogance turned heavenly prosperity into crisis. The curse of Durvasa became the spark that set in motion of the greatest stories in the Hindu mythology. Let's move on to the next chapter. After the curse, everything fell apart. The gods were weak, defeated, and had lost all their power and kingdom to demons. Realizing they couldn't fix this mess on their own, Devas finally swallowed their pride and went to Lord Brahma for help. Brahma, knowing the complexity of the situation, he took them to Lord Vishnu, the protector of the universe. The gods stood before him, stripped their vanity, and prayed for a way to regain their lost power and glory. This is a powerful lesson. Even gods had to learn that they don't have all the answers. When you are at your lowest point and don't know where to turn, don't let your ego stop you from asking for help. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is seek wisdom from those who see the bigger picture. Durvasa's curse soon began to take effect. The Devas started losing their strength, brilliance, and divine powers. Prosperity disappeared from heaven, and Goddess Lakshmi withdrew her blessings. Seeing the Devas weakened, the Asuras grew strongly. Under King Bali, they attacked heaven and defeated the Devas in many battles. Indra, once the mighty king of heaven, realizing the seriousness of this curse, the Devas gathered together and went to Lord Brahma for help. With folded hand, they prayed, "O Lord Brahma, we have lost our strength and our kingdom." Brahma listened to their plea and decided to take them to Lord Vishnu, believing that only Vishnu could restore the balance. The journey would soon lead to the greatest event in the universe, the Samudra Manthana, the churning of ocean milk. Lord Shiva was seated on Mount Kailash with Goddess Parvati. The Devas, sages, and celestial beings often came there to seek blessing and wisdom. One day, sage Narada arrived at Kailash, chanting Narayana Narayana. After offering his respects, Narada praised Mahadeva and spoke about the welfare of three worlds. Pleased with Narada's devotion, Lord Shiva, after the curse, everything fell apart. The gods were weak, defeated, and had lost all their power and kingdom to demons. Realizing they couldn't fix this mess on their own, Devas finally swallowed their pride and went to Lord Brahma for help. Brahma, knowing the complexity of the situation, he took them to Lord Vishnu, the protector of the universe. The gods stood before him, stripped their vanity, and prayed for a way to regain their lost power and glory. This is a powerful lesson. Even gods had to learn that they don't have all the answers. When you are at your lowest point and don't know where to turn, don't let your ego stop you from asking for help. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is seek wisdom from those who see the bigger picture. Lord Vishnu listened to their prayers and gave them a surprising plan. He told the gods, to get your power back, you must churn the ocean of milk to find the Amrita, the nectar of immortality. But you cannot do it alone. Vishnu gave them a tough instructions. You must work together with your enemies, the Asuras. It sounds crazy, right? Working with your enemies? But Vishnu knew something they didn't. This teaches a huge lesson. Sometimes you have to put aside your you don't like to achieve a much greater goal. Cooperation can be the key to success even when it's the last thing you want to do. Now, finally, the stage was set for the biggest teamwork project the universe had ever seen. The gods and demons had to prepare to churn off massive cosmic ocean. For churning the rod, they didn't use a stick. They used a giant Mandara mountain. And for a rope, they used a Vasuki, the king of serpents, the god Devas, lined up on the one side and gripping the tail. On the other side, the demons, Asura, grabbed the head off, ready to pull. It was the perfect reminder that no matter how big the task is, you can't always do it alone. Achieving a massive success, universe, changing a goal requires incredible teamwork. In this case, enemies had to work side by side to succeed. As the churning began, there was a big problem. The massive mountain was too heavy for the ocean floor, and it started sinking. Everything was about to fail. That's when Lord Vishnu stepped in. He took the form of giant tortoise known as Kurma Avatar, and he dove into the deep water. He placed himself directly under the mountain. Using his massive shell to hold it steady and strong with his back, the mountain supported. The churning could finally continue. Just as things were getting underway, the ocean produced something nobody expected, a terrifying, deadly poison called Halahala. It spread rapidly, threatening to destroy the entire universe. The gods and demons were terrified and didn't know what to do. They quickly turned to Lord Shiva, the only powerful enough to handle such a danger. This is reality of life. Before you reach a major success or big reward, you will often face difficulties first. It's like testing your determination. Just remember, when your challenges feel impossible or poisonous, stay calm, seek the right guidance, and don't give up. Great success is almost always waiting on the other side of great challenges. It's like just follow the process. With the poison spreading and the universe on the brink of destruction, Lord Shiva stepped forward. He didn't run away from the danger. He embraced it. He drank the deadly Halahala poison to protect everyone else. But the poison was so strong, it began to burn him. Goddess Parvati, seeking his sacrifice, reached out and stopped the poison right in his throat to save his life. The poison stayed there, turning the throat deep into permanent blue. From that day on, he became known as Neelakanta, the blue-throated one. This is the ultimate example of leadership and sacrifice. Shiva shows us that a true protector is someone willing to take his suffering, the poison, of a situation to keep others safe. It's a powerful reminder that being hero is not about winning. It's about courage and stand between your loved ones and danger they face. With the poison safely contained, the churning continued and the ocean finally began to yield its true treasures. One by one, magnificent wonders emerged. The Kamadhenu cow that grants all wishes, the Kalpavriksha tree, the divine elephant Airavata, the legendary horse Varsha, the sparkling Kustabam gem, beautiful celestial dancer Apsaras, and even the moon itself. This is the payout for all their hard work and struggle. It reminds us that patience brings rewards. When you keep going through the difficult times, just like they did after the poison, you eventually find the beauty and value you were looking for. Success is rarely shortcut. It's usually the reward for those who endured and kept pushing forward. After all the struggle, the most radiant treasure of all finally appeared. Goddess Lakshmi, the divine embodiment of the wealth and prosperity. As she rose from the ocean of milk, the entire universe filled with light, and the gods and sages bowed in prayer with grace. She looked beyond all of others and chose Lord Vishnu as her eternal partner. It's signaling that she would always bless those who follow the path of truth. This is the most important lesson for the entire story. Prosperity stays where righteousness and humility exist. Lakshmi didn't choose the prideful or the greedy. She chose the protector. Real wealth is not about having things, it's about character. When you live with honesty, purpose and humility, true prosperity finds its way to you. Finally, the moment they had all been working for around, Lord Dhanvantari, the physician of gods, emerged from the ocean, holding the golden pot of Amrita, the nectar of immortality. But the moment it appeared, confusion broke out. The Asuras, driven by the greed, snatched the pot away from the gods. They didn't want to share, they wanted all the power to themselves. This shows us a hard truth. The greatest treasure always attracts the greatest competition. Whenever you are close to achieve something truly valuable, whether it's success, a big promotion, or a major life goal, that's when pressure is highest. People often get jealousy or greedy when they see someone else holding the nectar of success. Staying calm and focused during that competition is just as important as the hard work it took to get there. When Asuras refusing to share the nectar to everyone, Lord Vishnu knew that brutal strength was not going to solve this problem. He needed to use his mind. He took the form of Mohini Avatar, a stunning, beautiful woman. The Asuras were completely distracted by her beauty and blindly trusted her. She promised to distribute the Amrita fairly to everyone, Asuras and Devas, but instead she used her charm to outsmart them. While the Asuras were under the spell, she gave every drop of nectar to only Devas, restoring their immortality and power. This is the ultimate lesson. Wisdom can defeat brutal strength. The demons had the power to snatch the pot, but they lacked of intelligence to keep it. In life, you don't always need to fight fire with fire. Sometimes staying smart, being calm, and using your wisdom is much more powerful than winning any of the treasures. The story doesn't end without one last trick. An Asura named Indra who decided to cheat. He disguised himself as a god and snuck into the liner to get a taste of a nectar. He managed to swallow a bit, but the sun and moon god spotted him immediately and told Lord Vishnu. Before the nectar could make him fully immortal, Vishnu got anger and he thrown Sudarshana Chakra and cut off Rahu's head. However, because he has already tasted the Amrita, he didn't die. Instead, he became the plant Rahu and Ketu. His head as a Rahu and his body became Ketu. This is one of the perfect lesson on honesty. Deception may bring temporary success, but the truth is always eventually revealed. Rahu thought he was clever and managed to trick everyone for a moment, but he was caught in the end. It reminds that shortcuts and lies might get you quick win, but they always come with the permanent consequences. The truth always finds a way to come to light. With the nectar consumed, the Devas were now fully restored. They were not just powerful, instead, they were energized with the strength of immortality. With this new force, they marched against the Asuras and won a decisive victory. Indra returned to his throne in heaven, and the confusion finally settled. The universe was calm, orderly, and back in a balance once again. This brings us to the final, most important lesson of entire story: Dharma or righteous ultimately trumps. The gods had to go through a long, difficult journey. They had to learn humility. They had to cooperate with the enemies. They had to face a poisonous challenges, and they had to use their wisdom to win. It was not just a path, but because they stayed on a side of the what is right, they own it in the end. Remember, this is for your own life. No matter how hard things get, if you keep your values, stay honest, and work with a good heart, Dharma, the right way of living, will always guide you to the victory. And so, the great churning of an ocean comes to an end. What started as a simple mistake, a moment of pride, turned into a journey that changed entire universe. The gods were brought to low. They will learn the value of patience. They faced the poison, the life's greatest challenges, and they ultimately learned that true power is not about strength. It's about humility, wisdom, and working together for the greater good. The story of Samudra Manthana is a mirror of our own lives. We all faces our own oceans, full of challenges, hidden treasures. But if we face those challenges with a steady heart, seek the right guidance, and choose the path righteousness, we too can find our own nectar for immortality. In the end, Dharma, the path of truth, always win. Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of the most timeless stories ever told. Let's meet you in the next one. Until then, take care. Goodbye.